When you're creating shapes and artwork inside of Photoshop, you have two choices: create vector-based artwork or work in terms of pixels. The first of which, vectors, are scalable, and that means we can mess around with their sizing and the transformations on them to our heart's content without degrading them. Pixel-based graphics aren't very flexible and they aren't scalable in the way that vectors are, so in almost every instance, they really aren't of much use to us. So for example, if I wanted to free transform this shape, which is this vector shape, make sure I have that layer selected. By using the free transform tool, I'm going to push Command T on my keyboard. It's my keyboard shortcut, Command T, or Control T on a Windows machine. I could shrink it way down by grabbing the corner point here and hold Shift to constrain the proportions and drag it way down. And you can either hit Enter or click on this little check mark to commit that change. And now what I'll do is I'll actually do another free transform and I'll blow it up even bigger than it was before. So that was Command T on my keyboard. I'm going to blow it way up and I'll just move it a little bit here. So bigger than it was before, and hit return or click on the check mark. I'm going to hit return to commit that change. Now look how crisp and sharp all of those edges are. They're still just as sharp as they were before. No matter what, this happens every single time. Now watch what happens when I do the same to the pixel-based shape. I'll temporarily hide the vector-based shape and select the pixel shape here in my Layers panel. And I'll use Command T again, which is actually under here, Edit, Free Transform. And I'm going to click and hold Shift to constrain my proportions again on this circle, just to drag it way down, and I'll commit that change. And now I'll do the same thing, Command T, Free Transform, and I'm going to blow it way up again, bigger than it was before. And before I even commit that change, you can see what's happening here to this shape. Let me hit return. Look how pixelated the edges of this shape are. You can see that when I made that smaller, the edges still looked fairly clean, and that's because objects that are downsized maintain their quality. However, when I blow things up, the edges become quite pixelated and not exactly as clean as I would like them to be. And the reason for this is you're asking Photoshop to fill in pixels that currently or previously weren't filled in before. Photoshop is trying to understand how to fill in those extra pixels by making up that information that previously didn't exist, and this is the best result that it can come up with. So if you have an opportunity, always use vector artwork when possible. Occasionally you will have to use pixel-based artwork, and that's okay, especially when you're dealing with photographs. But just be careful when you're scaling and resizing. Remember, going down in size always maintains the quality, but going back up usually destroys it.